ओम ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
ओम ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
मूर्तिभेद विभागिने
मूर्तिभेद विभागिने
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना भवतु।
ॐ सहना भवतु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै।
सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं।
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्।
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्।
अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्।
अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्।
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः।
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः।
वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः।
वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
अर्जुन उवाच
अर्जुन उवाच
जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते
जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते
सा बुद्धिर्जनार्दन
मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन
तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे माम्
तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे माम्
नियोजयसि केशव।
नियोजयसि केशव।
व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन
व्यामिश्रेणैव वाक्येन
बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे।
बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे।
एकं वद निश्चित्य
तदेकं वद निश्चित्य
येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्।
येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा
लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा
पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ।
पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नः।
ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानाम्
ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानाम्
कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्।
कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्।
Here this is wrong. That's why yesterday I made mistake. Only one refa. Vyamishreneva. If eva, then we have to write a. Because buddhi something. Yesterday we saw Arjun has asked question to Krishna and he says, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Te mata means according to your teaching. Te means your, mata means your contention. But your teaching, buddhihi karmanaha jayasi. Here the meaning of buddhi we have seen, atmagnanam, knowledge. If according to you, hey Krishna, self-knowledge is better than jayasi, this is the fifth case, better than karma. So the meaning is, if compared to karma, if gnanam is superior, if gnanam is shrestha, tat kam kim karmani ghore mam, then why? Tat kim means then why? Ghore karmani, in this terrible karma. And there is a terrible action right now is to fight the war. That's why he says, Ghore karmani Keshava kim niyojayasi. Why you are impelling me? Why are you asked to tell me, please, yesterday I have shown you in second chapter, in the beginning, Bhagavan has taught Atmagyanam. At the end of second chapter, Bhagavan has taught Atmagyanam, and between both Atmagyanam Bhagavan has taught also Karma Yoga. And Bhagavan has praised this, even Atma Gnanam also. At the same time, Bhagavan has praised Karma Yoga also. That's why he says, according to you, Buddhi means Atma Gnanam is better, then why you are impelling me? Confusion is genuine. According to, if we see Arjuna's confusion is genuine, why you are impelling me? And now, Vyamishreneva Vakyena me buddhim mohayasi. So here there are two Eva. Evakara is there. Here also Eva and here also Eva. He says, Vyamishreneva Eva Vakyena me buddhim mohayasi. Vyamishrena, it says, sometimes you say jnanam is good, sometimes you say karma is good. So it's seeming contradictory. That's why I say self-contradictory, seeming contradictory, all this sentence with words, me buddhi, my mind is confused. That's why tadekam vada nishchitya. That's why ekam vada. Ekam vada means you tell, if you tell me you pursue only action, then I will follow action. If you say now you have to follow only Atma Jnanam, you pursue Atma Jnanam, then I will follow Atma Jnanam. That's why it says ekam means between of two, either karma or either gnanam. Ekam vada nishchitya. Nishchitya means having decided. If you say yena means that either karmana or gnanena aham shreyah apnuyam. By pursuing whatever you tell me, after pursuing this, aham means myself, will gain shreyah, means atma gnanam, I will gain. Vyamishrena, here eva, here eva. But in Bhashyam, Shankaracharya ji has written, Vyamishrena eva vakyena, what is the meaning? Then he says, if this is Shankaracharya just thinking, he says, Yadyapi vivikta abhidhaitvam. This is for Krishna. He says, even though Krishna is very clear, Vivikta means crystal clear. Krishna, no, Abhidhai means he always tell, whatever tell, clearly. But Tathapi, Arjuna is thinking, Mama Manda Buddhehe. So I am little bit dull. Aham, Mama Mand Buddhehe. Your all sentences, your all words looking, seeming like Vyamishram, like a contradictory. Bhagavata Vakyam Pratibhati. It seemingly, it says, it is a contradictory. That's why I am asking, why you are telling me such thing? Buddhim mohayasi eva. Tena vakyena. Whatever you say in second chapter, by those words, it seems my mind is confused. And Shankaracharya is written again, Mama Buddhi mohayasi. What does it mean? He says, Mama Buddhi means actually you are teaching me why. So Shankaracharya has written in his Bhashyam, Apanaya. Whatever you are doing, effort is nothing but Apanaya. The meaning of Apanaya means for removing. What Krishna would like to remove, Arjuna says, my delusion. And where delusion is staying, so escape in my buddhi. So you are always, tvam pravruttaha, you are active, you are engaged to remove all my delusion sitting in my mind. So you can never confuse me, but my mind. So, tvam tu katham mohayasi. How can you confuse me? When you are engaged, when you are totally committed to remove my confusion, then katham tu tvam mohayasi. How can you confuse me? That's why I am telling you, eva. This eva means as though. For me is as though, even though you are very clear, Krishna, but for me, your all sentence, your all words, for me, it's confusing because I cannot take decision. What should I pursue? whether Gnanam or whether Karma. That's why. And when Arjuna said like this, the Shankaracharya ji again written, this Vakya, it's called humility. Vinayaha, because Arjuna has again committed. You are telling everything correctly, but my buddhi is not working properly. That's why I'm eva confusing. That's why I'm. So it's written in Shankaracharya's mind. It need not to accept everything blindly, but at the same time need not to insult teacher also. That's why evakara is used by Arjuna. Eva means as though you are confusing me, but really speaking, you are not confusing. And he says, ekam vada nishchitya, no? Tad ekam vada nishchitya. So Shankaracharya has written, tad ekam means what ekam? Nishchitya means having decided one. Which one thing? Vada is imperative mood. You tell me. Please, you tell me. And what you have to tell. So what Arjuna is thinking, no? Arjuna was thinking, one person cannot pursue knowledge and karma simultaneously. That's why Shankaracharya has written, Bhinna kartukayoho. Karta means two different person. Bin means different. Kartukayoho means two doers, two different person. They can pursue either Gnan and Karma. This Karma yoga is 6/2. So two different Karta can pursue. One can pursue Gnana, one can pursue Karma, but Eka Purusha, only one person. Anusthana means Gnana Karmanoho Anushtanam Asambhavam. It is next impossible. If I sitting for class, then how can do other job? That's why Arjuna was thinking, this one person cannot do simultaneously karma as well as pursue gnanam. That's why he says, this is impossible, asambhavam, yadi manyase. If you think that I have to do something, then ekam vada. You please tell me one thing, karma or gnan. What you want? What should I follow? I should pursue activity or I should follow gnanam. And again Arjuna has told, you have to tell me Arjuna se yoga buddhi shakti. Because Krishna must be knowing how much Arjuna can grasp. That's why Shankaracharya has written, Arjunasya yoga buddhi shakti. How much he has power, how much he has energy to grasp. According to that only, vada. You tell me, what should I follow? Should I follow gnanam or should I follow activity? And whatever you tell, then yena. Yena means if you say karma, then karmana. If you say you follow gnanam, then gnanena aham shreyah apnuyam. By following this, I will gain what? Liberation, moksha, sansara, nivritti, whatever, but I will get liberation. Again, once I have told you, but there is a one word, is called Shreya. Another name of Shreya is moksha. Another name of Shreya is mukti. And for Shreya, person has to go through different type of sadhana. That once we have discussed, but still, I think, because Arjuna is not understanding, so still we can repeat this again. It says, Shastra says, it is given in Vedas, there are 1, 2, here actually 3, this is 3, in 3A, 3B, and 3C. Total 5 sadhana are prescribed in Veda for get moksha, to gain liberation, whatever we say. And what is the first sadhana? Bhagavan has said, it will come in Karma Yoga also. That sadhana is called Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga means Karma means how to do karma, and karma means how to receive the result of karma. It's called karma. And the yoga means attitude. With proper attitude, if we perform karma, with proper attitude, if we receive the result of karma, is called first karma yoga sadhana. And what is the result? By pursuing this karma yoga, it says benefit of karma yoga is chitta shuddhi, more or less, no raga dvesha. It let be there, but more or less, no raga dvesha. This is the result of first sadhana, karma yoga. Then, what is the another second sadhana that I have told? It's called upasana yoga. Upasana is meditation. Really speaking, the meaning of upasana is meditation. And in meditation, if I chanting Gayatri, then it's also called upasana. In meditation, if I chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, is also upasana. In meditation, Om Namah Shivaya, if you are chanting, is called meditation. So upasana is equal to dhyanam. Upasana is not offering ashtottara. In generally, people's thinking is upasana means I'm doing upasana means I'm sitting in front of altar and I'm offering something every day. It's called upasana. But upasana is meditation, and meditation may be for personal God. Be like some Ishtadevta, Krishna, Rama, whatever. Because today Rama, birthday of Rama, no Ramanam. So whatever, but we may have our personal God and we may meditate upon Vishwarupa Lord, what is given in 11th chapter. So everything is Ishvara. So whatever you are chanting in our mind is called upasana. So what is the benefit? What is the advantage of pursuing upasana yoga is our concentration is increased while listening. Even while performing karma yoga, we are extrovert. But by doing this upasana, we become introvert. More and more, we can sit with ourselves. And main benefit of upasana is our mind opens up. We are ready to accept people as they are. Because while doing upasana, everything is Lord only, Ishavasya Midam Sarvam, then how can I separate what I like, what I don't like? So everything, we start accepting people as they are, without our glasses of our Ragadvesha. This is the main benefit. And when we start to accept people, then only Mahavakya can work. Otherwise, our mind is small. And Upadesha of Mahavakya is, you are everything. If we are not ready to accept one person, how can we become all, we are everything? That's why this benefit to accept people is the major important factor. Benefit of Upasana Yoga. And then last one is called Jnana Yoga. In Jnana Yoga, there is three things. What we know, Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Shravanam is not mere Shravanam. Really speaking, there is a definition. It says Satatam means constant. The study of scripture, Satatam, as good as consistent means seriously length of time under the guidance of competent teacher, consistent, constant listening is called Shravanam. Sometimes people say, I'm listening Shastra, 1 month I'm listening, 2 months I'm skipping, after 1 month I start listening. It's not consistent. That's why consistent also important, constant is also important, seriously, studiously, length of time under the guidance of either Shrotriya or Brahmanist, competent teacher is called Shravanam. And what is the benefit by doing Shravana Sadhana? I have written Agnana Nivritti. Our ignorance with regard to ourselves will go. We think I am body, we think I am sorrowful, I am happy. That ignorance will go. We start thinking body and mind is given as an instrument. So it's called Agna. While doing meditation, Gnanam will never take place. Gnanam will take place only by listening only. So this is the benefit of Shravanam. Then what is the benefit of Mananam? It says, Sanshaya Nivrittihi, our doubts regarding whole teaching, regarding Ishvara, regarding whole world, and regarding Jiva. We have many doubts. We raise the question, then our teacher will answer. It's called Mananam part. So our Sanshaya Nivritti, our doubt will go. And Nididhyasana means same as meditation, but in this meditation, what we are doing, is not, first we record and then we start we playing recording, what we have recording. Same way, what we have what we have listened in the class, again we are playing in our mind. Is called Nididhyasana. And by doing Nididhyasanam daily, what will happen? It's called Viparita Bhavana Nivritti. Whatever we have impression regarding us, everything will go. And when a person is gone through all type of sadhana, then only Shreyaha Apnuya. Then only person can gain moksha, liberation. But poor Arjuna thinks only by doing Shravana I can gain knowledge. So at that time also I have said, there is all are compulsory, there is nothing optional, all sadhanas, because each and every sadhana has their own benefits. But Arjuna thinks Shravanam is better, means Gnanam is better than Karma Yoga. And for Arjuna, here Karma is more. That's why he is asking, Vada Ekanishchitya, Yena Shreyaha Apnuya, because he is interested in only in Gnana Yoga. That's why he is asking. Now, before entering in the third verse, let's see, yesterday what I have told you, it says, in scriptures, there are two committed lifestyle. There are two lifestyle, Nishtha. One lifestyle is called, Shankaracharya has written, Pravrutti Margaha, active life. Is a Grihastha, highly active, and another lifestyle is called Nivritti Margaha. So it's sannyasi, they are not active. And its name is Grihasthashram. Active lifestyle is called Grihasthashram, and Nivritti Marg is called Sannyasashram. Grihasthashram, Pravrutti Marg is designed for Karma Yoga, while this Sannyasashram is designed for knowledge. Pravrutti Marga is highly active, while Nivritti Marga is secluded, is passive. There is no much mixing with society. It says, without Karma Yoga, Gnanam is next to impossible. So Gnanam, impossible without Karma Yoga. In Pravrutti Marga, many responsibilities. As a father, as a mother, many responsibility. As a sannyasi, no responsibility. But in this Grihasthashram, Pravrutti Marga, being family members, always person feeling secure at emotional level, at finance level, at all level. Grihasthashram means family person are secure, while sannyas ashram, if is not prepared, then sannyas ashram emotional level is always disturbed. In Pravrutti Marga, life is dependent. We have to dependent for family members, while sannyasi is always independent. And now people are interested to take moksha. Being a human being, the goal of human being is to take sannyasa. So should I take nivritti marg, means sannyas ashram, for gaining moksha, or should I follow this grihastha ashram to gain moksha? Which one is good? Which one is better? So it says there are three options. It says to gain moksha, there is a three option. First option is after brahmacharya ashram, enter grihastha ashram. After brahmacharya ashram, person has to enter in grihastha ashram, and being grihasthi, that person has many karma, many project, many things, many setup. But all karma, if that person is doing with yoga, karma yoga bhavana, with proper attitude, then in process, one time will come, that person's mind will be refined. And that person becomes mature while doing only performing karma yoga, and then that person can switch over from grihastha ashram to sannyasa. The first option to gain knowledge is from brahmacharya to grihastha, and grihastha, having lived life of grihastha, then only for moksha only they can switch over to sannyasa. Another option, he says, why you need to switch over to sannyas ashram. Person maybe remain in brahmacharya. Brahmacharya they enter in grihastha ashrama. Let it be remain in grihastha ashram for lifetime. And in lifetime only, in grihastha ashram only, person can be gnani. It's not necessary only sannyasi can have self-knowledge. Remaining grihastha ashram, they being gnani, and they become sannyasi with mind, not with clothes. And Janaka is the best example. Living in grihastha ashram, he becomes atmagnani. So no need to switch over in sannyasa life. Person can have gnanam. And third option, it says, from brahmacharya only, some person can enter in sannyasa ashram. They say, I'm not interested in grihastha life, no householding life. Directly I am entering in sannyasa. But if person is not ready in sannyasa, then purifying of mind, because karma yoga in grihastha is very helpful for chitta shuddhi. Here no karma. So it is a very less scope to purifying, to refine our mind. But still, Guru, they can do ashram seva, Guru seva, japa puja, etc. But still, it says this is a risky. Sannyasa ashram is risky if mind is not prepared. So which one is better? So generally, always Krishna has to say, Arjuna, grihastha ashram is the best for to take knowledge. Having kept this in mind, now Bhagavan has said, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha. Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavan uvacha, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya naga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogina. Bhagavan says, Asmin loke, in this word, pura, at the time of the beginning of Srushti, Srushte, when Srushti is just begun, at that time, Maya Prokta, Maya means by me, Prokta was taught. What Bhagavan has taught, Dvividha Nishtha. Here the meaning of Nishtha, what I said yesterday, is lifestyle. Not Nishtha is like a Gnana Nishtha, Japo Nishtha, but really speaking, yesterday also said, the meaning of Nishtha means Nitaram. The meaning of Nitaram means committed. In English, it says committed. Nitaram. Shtha is come from this tishtati, is become shtha, actually is stha. So nitaram tishtati. There are, you might have heard the name Japonishtaha. One who is committed to japa, it's called Japonishtaha. If one committed to tapa, I know one lady, story is very good, but she is a sadhu. She is eating only fruit, nothing else. She says, to sustain my body, I'm just eating. I'm not entertaining my body. It's called taponishta. So totally she is committed to tapa. Same way, in lifestyle also, there is a two type of committed lifestyle. So Dvida Nishta means twofold committed lifestyle. What are their name? It says Sankhyanam Jnana Yogena Nishtha, Yoginam Karma Yogena Nishtha. That Bhagwan has told is already taught by me. Now we see. So when we doing Anvaya, that's why I have written one thing more I have added. He Anaga Asmin Loke Pura Vivida Nishtha Maya Prokta. This is sentence is complete. But Sankhya Nam Gnana Yogena Nishtha Maya Prokta. So one who is sannyasi, for them, Gnana Yoga, a pursuit of self-knowledge, that committed lifestyle is said by me. Same way, Yogina, one who is the householder, for them, pursuit is Karma Yoga also, that committed lifestyle also, Maya Prokta, is also taught by me. So both lifestyle is taught by me. Now Bhagwan has addressed Arjuna, one name is called Anaga. Here Anaga, one word is called Agam. The meaning of Agam is Papam. Anagam means one who doesn't have any Papa. It's called Anagam. Agam, Yasya na Vidyate, it's called Anagam. It is the opposite of Agam. And he addressed Arjuna. So indirectly, Bhagwan says, I am teaching you. Here, Bhagwan has selected only Arjuna. Yudhishthira is more appropriate compared to among all siblings. Yudhishthira is more calm and cool. But still, why Bhagwan has chosen Arjuna? Because one thing is, he himself committed Aham Tak Shishya. That's why he has chosen. And another thing is, he is Anaga, means by mind, he doesn't have much Raga Dvesha. Even Yudhishthira didn't have, but Arjuna also has no Papa, Raga Dvesha. That's why his Bhagwan says, Anaga. So you are Adhikari. When we say Vedanta Adhikari, who is eligible? So one who doesn't have any Papa. And then Bhagwan says, Asmin Loke means in this word, Pura. The meaning of Pura, Shankaracharya is written, Srushti Arambe, at the beginning of whole universe. At that time, what will happen? So in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, even our Dashashanti mantra, last verse is coming, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purve, Yo Ve Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmi, Tagum Hodeva. But what Bhagwan has done, first, he created Brahmaji, means Hiranyagarbha, and he has given Vidadhati, that dha, no? We have said da. It's called Dadhati. Bhagwan has given what? All knowledge of Veda. Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati, Yo Ve Vedanscha Prahinoti. And Bhagwan again teaches all Veda to Brahmaji. And in this Veda, two lifestyles also are taught. That's why Pura, at the time of beginning, this twofold lifestyle I have already taught to Brahmaji. Dvida Nishta means committed, like Japonishta. While if being Grihastha, then Grihastha should not think, let me become a sannyasi. Otherwise, he is not committed. And being sannyasi have no right to think, now let me become a grihastha. It says sannyasi has only one way. There is a no written way. If you become a sannyasi, then now let me become a grihastha. There is a no such thing. That's why sannyasi's life is more difficult. So it's called committed Veda Nishtha, two folds committed lifestyle told by B. And which are those? Then Bhagavan says, Sankhyana. The meaning of Sankhya means renunciation. The renunciation, Gnana Yogena Nishtha Maya Prokta. So Sankhyana, really speaking, this Sankhya is 6/3. If 6/3, we have to translate of the sannyasi. But here it is not of the sannyasi, for the sannyasi. So this prayoga in called Sheshe Shashti. Sometime even we have to write is the fourth case, but it's used in sixth case, so it's called is Sheshe, left out. Whatever we would like to put, we can put in Shashti, Sheshe Shashti. So Sankhyanam for sannyasi, Gnana Yogena. It is a committed lifestyle in pursuit for knowledge is given by me. And why Bhagavan has given this committed lifestyle? So it says, really speaking, sannyasi doesn't have any responsibility is given to sannyasi. He says you are free. Even while taking vows of sannyasi, we have to take vow, okay, now I am totally free. Now I will follow ahimsa. I am out of competition. I will pursue only gnana. And even it is a time consuming to chant Gayatri for sannyasi. So before taking sannyasa, we have to do homa of Gayatri also. Even a Brahmin, if a male is there, they have to offer that Upanayanam. That also Upavitam in offered in Yagna. After that, no more Gayatri. Because according to Shastra, it says Gayatri also is very more time consuming. So whole Gayatri is collapsed in Om. After sannyasa, one has to chant only Om, no Gayatri. And Pujya Swamiji used to tell us, Tat Savitur Varenyam is collapsed in Akara. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi is collapsed in Ukara, and Dhiyo Yonaf Prachodaya is collapsed in Om. So combination of three is called Om. So after sannyasa, we cannot chant Gayatri, particularly Tat Savitur Varenyam. We have to chant only Om. Because Shastra expecting from sannyasi should give more time in pursuing knowledge. When I was listening someone, it is given, scientists are always have given freedom. They can go to do any practical. They can go to laboratory. It's not for 10 to 6 laboratories open. For scientists, everything is open at any time. Even Abdul Kalam has said, I have discovered this satellite at the middle of night. So they are always allowed to go. Same way, sannyasi is also allowed to not to do any type of rituals, not to do any type of responsibility. Why? Because they have given total freedom to gain moksha. Not just loitering, but totally freedom. And even for sannyasi, Shastra is given, that grihastha will take care. Whole responsibility to sustain his lively or her livelihood is taken care by other society. Grihastha letting him or her give freedom so they can pursue knowledge. So they can pursue knowledge without any interruption. That's why all freedom has been given. Because Gita, to to listen Gita, to understand Gita, grammatical, vision-wise, it take a long time. To understand whole Upanishad with Bhashya, with all grammatical, Brahma Sutra, if we sit, then it will take long time. If we're doing all different type of pursuit, different type of karma, then how that person can do? That's why total freedom, but freedom given not for doing jalsa, not for entertainment, but freedom is given only for study. That's why sannyas is always free. And in Shankar Bhashyam is given the why sannyasi's name is given Sankhyana. Why Sankhya, sannyasi? So it's given in Shankar Bhashyam, Vaidiki Buddhi, Samyak Buddhi, because in Veda it always says Ishvara is avinna nimitta upadan karan. So Ishvara becomes whole, and being whole, if really we have jnana, then our buddhi becomes same to each and every person. For each being, every being, our buddhi becomes same. It's called Samyak Buddhi. Because in Upanishad, it always teaches Samyak Khyayate. Khyayate means they are teaching. And what type of teaching? Samyak. Like in gold, different ornaments, but and at last everything is gold. Same way, whole world with different colors, different forms, but still everything is same. Because nothing was called Ishvara. Where it is teaching is called Vediki, is belonging to Veda, and this Samyak Buddhi, it's called Sankhya. The name of such Buddhi, it's called Sankhya, and where it is revealed, what is that revealed? That Tattvam, Brahma, is called Sankhya. Tat Taya Prakashatvena Sambandhi, it is related to that Tattvam which says everything is one. It's called Tattvam, which we call Brahman. Here it's called Sankhya. And one whose buddhi, Tad Vishaya, one who is given to this Sankhya, one who has given whole life to Sat Tattvam, that is called Sankhya Buddhi. And one who has Sankhya Buddhi, Yesham Gnaninam, that person is called Sankhya. So one who has devoted whole life to understand what is Samyak, what is Brahman, it's called Sankhya. That's why sannyasi's other name is Sankhya, because they have given whole life to what? Sankhya. It says sannyasa are three types. I don't want to go in detail because Pujya Swamiji has given in his home study. So three types of sannyasa. One is called Vividisha, one is called Apat, and one is called Vidvat. Vividisha means Veditum Icha. Veditum means to know. Isha means Icha. Vividisha means Veditum Icha. Generally, all sannyasi are Vividisha sannyasi, Vividishu sannyasi, because they would like to know who is Ishvara. That's why it's called Vividisha sannyasa. So generally, we all are Vividisha sannyasa. One type of sannyasa is called Apat. When person is at the last bed, is about to die, at that time also, person can take sannyasa, which Shankaracharya ji has taken. He asked his mother, a crocodile has caught me, my leg, even I am going to die. So if you say, you please take sannyasa, then our scripture, there is one contention. A person who is sannyasi and he leaves the body, that person has good gati after death. That's why Shankaracharya ji has asked his mother, okay, now crocodile has already caught my leg. I'm going to die. You please allow me to take sannyasa. Then poor mother says, yes, I'm giving you sannyasa. Then that crocodile goes away and he becomes sannyasa. So it's called Apat sannyasa. And last one is called Vidvat sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa means one who knows what is what. who am I, what is Jagat, even being Gruhastha also, that person is called Vidvat Sannyasi. Without taking sannyasa also, we can say it is a Vidvat Sannyasi. Our Janaka Raja was Vidvat Sannyasi. But if Janak Raja thinks, even Yagyavalkya was starting thinking, let me take sannyasa. If you have heard this Brihadaranyaka, then he started to thinking, let me take sannyasa. He is already Gnani. So if he takes sannyasa, that sannyasa is called Vidvat sannyasa. So Vidvat means already know what is what. Then there is a no interest in samsara. Then say I am not interested because I know what is what. That person also can take sannyasa. It's called Vidvat sannyasa. But there are very less people in Vidvat sannyasa. Generally, more are Vividisha. They would like to Veditu Vichcha, Gnatu Vichcha. It's called Vividisha. But if for Vividisha sannyasi, Apat sannyasi, scripture says you are free. You are out of all responsibility. You just pursue only jnana. That person has Sankhyanam Gnana Yogena Nishtha. That's why Bhagavan says Sankhyanam Sannyasinam Jnana Yogena Nishtha and Karma Yogena Yoginam. Then another is Yoginam Karma Yogena Eva Nishtha. So for Grihastha, one who was given to householding life, for them committed lifestyle is in form of pursuit of different type of activity. But in generally, this householder, Grihastha, even they have committed lifestyle. This lifestyle is governed by Pancha Mahayagna. That we will see, we have already seen, but they are committed to Pancha Mahayagya. They are whatever they do. Because for Grihastha, there is a one word in Sanskritam, Krutagya, not Krutagna, Krutagya. The meaning of Krutagya means Krutam Janati. They are indebted. Kruta means whatever done, Gna means Janati. They are already indebted to Ishvara. Our forefathers, they think if Bhagavan has given this beautiful life, this I have to do something for Ishvara. It's called Deva Yagna. If this body is given by my parents, then I have to do something for parents. It's called Deva Yagna. If I have know such much about scriptures, then I have to do this knowledge to hand over to my second generation. It's called Brahma Yagna. And living in society, I have to help other human beings. It's called Manushya Yagna. And I am not living with only Manushya. I am living in nature. There are trees, there are animals, there are birds. I have to do for them also. With this all bhavana, a person is living a life that is called Karma Yogena Nishtha Maya Prokta. Gnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yoginam Karma Yogena Nishtha. Here the yogi is who pursues activities. One who are given to different type of activities, but those activities also are helpful to others. They are always given to others. So both lifestyle are, it seems good, but both lifestyle are difficult to live. Genuinely living, say both lifestyle give benefits. That's why Bhagavan says both lifestyles are prescribed by me at the beginning of the creation. Because people will ask, okay, what type of life which should I live? If you remember, three persons. One is called Deva. Another was Danava, means Asura. and another is Manushya. If this is a story, but it's very good story. Three went to Brahmaji and they asked, give me something so we can live our life properly. So Brahmaji has given all to one word only, the. When Deva goes, he said dakara. You follow the. Danava goes, they say the. You follow the. In when Manushya went, they also say you have to follow the. Then what is the meaning of the? They went back and asked Brahmaji. Then he says, Deva are always engaged themselves with different type of entertainment. For the meaning of the is Damaha. Danava is, it always look cruel. Always they are himsaka. So for this, called Daya, be compassionate. They told to Danava, and this Manushya, they are Krupana, no? So they say, you have to do Danam. So you do charity. So all Dakara. But here also, they are given for what? Committed lifestyle. So this committed lifestyle are given by, and even now, Bhagavan will praise karma only, because generally a person cannot sit without any karma. So now Bhagavan will praise karma. Merely sitting, a person cannot get any moksha. So now karma portion, Bhagavan will start praising, but we will see next week. Any question regarding this? No?
Swaminiji, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have seen somebody like who have listened to this scriptures, read, written all their life, but I don't see them being good in their regular life. They are always thinking negative, doing negative things. Is that possible for somebody to listen to this for so many years and do negative things?
That's why I have told, no? They directly jump into Gnana Yoga. They don't live the Karma Yoga life. Without Karma Yoga, this become academic. This Gnana Yoga person become academic. There are many sadhus, even I have seen, they are PhD in Mandukya, they are PhD in Gita, but still, because it is not easy. Being intellect, they can understand everything, but it doesn't mean they are jnani. That's right. Karma Yoga is the most difficult sadhana.
And if somebody has to do like simple steps without knowing all the scriptures, with a little lifespan what we have, small steps. So you, I mean, I know that's a big topic, but that is like, is there a particular just 2 or 3 steps what somebody can follow?
Yeah. What we are given in Karma Yoga, no? Whatever we do, we should do for ourselves only. We can do like an offering, like Ashtottara in Puja. During Puja, we offer 108, we chant 108 names of Ishvara, and with each name we are offering one flower to Ishvara. Same way, by doing each and every action, we have to think in our mind, whatever I am doing is not for me, not for my even family. I am offering this action to Ishvara. This is a very small, very easy, but it is big also at the same time, very profound. And receive also. Whatever come in my life is always good. It seems also sometimes is not good for me, but after some Yes, if he says behind, then it seems it's very good, whatever it is. It's very simple. Anything?
So, Swaminiji, the
Yes. Hmm? Anything? I think Raviji is Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some. Huh.
so karma yoga is exercising your free will or choice when you are acting,
Mm.
because your natural tendency is to act selfishly.
Yeah. Mm.
Whereas when you exercise your choice or free will, you
Mm.
can do what is right
Yeah.
rather than what is selfish.
So we are regulating our ragadvesha.
And so slowly you can neutralize this impulse to be very selfish.
So it is
Um,
more difficult. Actually, karma yoga is most difficult. Gnana yoga is nothing. If our mind is, we can understand.
uh,
Most difficult is karma.
I mean, that is a great question, Shalini ji, about the how our life is transformed by this sadhanas and study of Vedanta. And if you do not, you know, you are not aware of this transformation, then it is kind of you're doing the study for the wrong reasons, I think, if it is not for transforming yourself.
Yeah, I think yeah, sometimes I guess the mind just so curious and it just keeps on grasping for next question, next knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. But when it comes to our reality, our real life, uh, we stumble on small things. And so that's why I was asking if there was any small step that we can do on an everyday basis. And
There is a one sentence, in Sanskritam, Tadiyam Deyam Tubhyam Samarpayami. Whatever given to me is given by you only. Again, I am Tubhyam Samarpayami. I am offering you. Nothing is mine. This thinking,
yeah, and also when I'm offering it to you, meaning again Ishvara is again in me, it is again me. I'm offering it to you. I'm saying I'm offering it to Ishvara, but again Ishvara is me. Like if aham brahmasmi, at the end of the day I'm again offering it to myself, but purifying myself.
Yeah. One who is sitting inside me, I am offering everything to you. This is not for my body, not for my mind. I am offering everything to you.
Yeah.
Tamaniji, the offering to Ishvara, it could also be thought of as doing unselfish actions, right?
Yeah.
That you are offering to the whole, meaning whatever is not selfish, you are offering for your family or for your colleagues or for your friends or for the society.
But even if we are doing something, our responsibility for a family member also. At the time also we can think, this is given to me, so I'm doing everything, all my responsibility, but still all my responsibility I'm offering to you. We can do it. It's given to me, family members are given to me, then my responsibility to take care. So whatever I'm taking care then, it's also I'm offering to you. We can offer anything.
And one last question. I don't know if you have time, but see, when we offer to Lord, like say with devotion, in Hinduism we are exposed to so many deities like Rama, Krishna, and all that. Yes, we get the devotional feeling, but at the same time, it is also possible we get attached to that name and form. Like for me personally, I cannot. I pray to all gods. I don't have one particular deity that I feel like I have to always pray for. I pray to Rama, I pray to like any deity. So is that how it should be, or we should, what is, how, when can we transfer from having a deity and not having a deity? Is it possible? I feel like I want to not have any deity. Is it possible?
Actually, you know,
It's very difficult.
if we true love to Ishvara, if a personal God, if we love a personal God, if a Rama, Krishna, whatever, but our love towards Ishvara is 100% true, then Ishvara manage everything. He starts showing us, I am not limited in this Vigraha, I am everything. Then it's a responsibility. That's why bhakti means love towards the Ishvara is very much necessary. Without that bhakti, we cannot offer our action to Lord. It's not mere lip service, no? I am offering, it's not lip service. With heart we are offering. Then we take care.
Yeah. And also, I have also tried not to just choose my own religion deities. Like I have prayed for Jesus Christ's photo, Buddha, Jain, anything. I have tried that. I like to pray for any name and form. So that way I feel like I am purifying and not having that boundary of even anything I can, right?
If Ishvara is all pervading, so Ishvara can be Jesus also. Ishvara can be everywhere.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
But at the time, we should not get what is sitting in Jesus, what is sitting in Buddha. Consciousness is one. And I am praying to that consciousness.
Yes.
So Swamiji, you said bhakti means love. It's like devotion is actually love to Ishvara, which like the Sanskrit word bhaj. The root is bhaj. Bhaj means love, I believe. That's what I was told.
No,
Bhakti is really love.
Yeah, bhakti means love towards Ishvara.
Yeah. And I think the operative keyword is, as you said, it should be 100%. It's not. It's a binary state.
Yeah. It should not be only lip service. Sometimes I love you, but it's not love. Just it's mere sentence. But when we say, "Oh Ishvara, I love you," then we can mean it. It's 100%. Then only transformation will take place.
I mean, I have thought about this question a lot. So, Shalini ji also, you know, this personal deity versus just praying to all gods.
Yeah.
I feel like this is my opinion. So, you know, you can take it for that. Is Swami TV says in one of his lectures too that there is this ananya chetaha satatam. So, it is better to focus your devotion on one aspect of Ishvara, which is in the form of Rama or Krishna or Shiva. In that sense, you read about the Leelas of Krishna, for example. You totally get to know Krishna as if he is your own. In that sense, you become very focused and you develop that single-mindedness of the devotion.
In Brahmara Gita, in Bhagavatam, this Gopi says, no, whatever I sing is nothing but Krishna only. Same way. If our true love, then we can see same Ishvara in Jesus, Buddha, Jain, Mahavir. No problem. All are same only. No? No. But with understanding we should do. Without
Yeah. I understood what Raviji said and you are saying. But like when I'm living in the regular day-to-day life, I listen to so much of conflicts between one religion to another religion, one religion saying this is bad, that is. So I feel like I know the gist of Vedanta, it's everything is one.
Yeah.
So I try to practice in myself so that I don't get a feeling, okay, this person is from another religion, you know, he is like somebody, like, you know, I wanted to just try it in myself. So that is the only reason, that is the reason I try to also pray for Jesus, have a Jesus picture, so that in my own way, my restrictions are a little less.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
It must be getting late for Swaminiji.
Sorry.
Thank you, Swaminiji. Sir.
Om
Purnamada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.